Alright, so I want to show you guys how to unlock the fretboard using Triads. This is going to help you in your solo playing and your rhythm playing. All we need to know is the major scale. In this case, let's do G. And we need to know our 5 open chord shapes. And we're just going to focus on the major chords in this example. So we have E, we have A, we have D, we have G, and we have C. Okay, we just need those 5. When we're first learning these open chord shapes, usually as guitar players, we kind of look at the open chords as their own thing, and then we learn these other bar chord shapes. But we actually can move all of those on the fretboard as well. We just have to learn how to do that. And first thing you want to do is to start visualizing the nut as your first finger. The nut is this piece right here that the strings sit on. We want to visualize that as our first finger. So if we took the first chord, which was the E chord, we want to relieve our first finger of what it's doing here so that we can have it mimic the nut. Right, so we have our pinky loose right now, so we're going to actually utilize our pinky, our fourth finger, and then we're going to make our first finger do what the nut is doing here. And then that's how we get our first bar chord. Usually this is the first bar chord that you learn, which is the F bar chord. But really the F bar chord is just an E chord that's been moved up once. So we're going to do that on all the chords. Let's go to A. So usually people learn A chord. Usually people learn the A chord this way. I kind of just learned to do it with my first finger. All right, so we're going to use our third finger though to play all 3 of those strings, the D, the G, and the B string. And then we're going to use our first finger again to mimic the nut, which was playing the A string. Right, so we move that up one, we get this shape here. Right, and that shape can be moved everywhere now. I'm just playing the middle 4 strings, the A, D, G, and B string, and I'm omitting the E strings on both ends, the high E and the low E string. Okay, and then we have our D chord, which is played this way. And we're just going to, again, relieve our first finger and use our pinky. So we get this shape, and now that first finger has to do the job of the nut. Right, we take that up, we get this shape. Okay, and let's keep going. We have G. Now some people learn the G chord this way, and some people learn the G chord this way. Now we need the second option where we're using the pinky in this one, and we're going to use our first finger again to mimic the nut on this one. So we take that up once, and we get this shape. Now, some of these shapes are very hard to do. No worries if you can't pull off some of these shapes. It requires big stretches. Mainly, we just want to visualize what's happening. We don't need to play these big chords. We're actually going to break them up anyway. The more advanced you get, you should be breaking these chords up into, maybe 3-note chords. But we need to visualize it is the main thing. So this is our G chord. And then we have our C next, right? And again, we're getting rid of this first finger. So we use our pinky in this case, and our first finger now becomes the nut. We take it up. And see, then we get this shape. Now, on all these shapes, now we can utilize the arpeggios of these shapes here. So for our first one, just real quick going through all of them, I'm going to start on the 2nd fret on this E shape here. That's our first arpeggio. Then we got A. I'm going to start on the 2nd fret as well. And then we have our D shape, which I'm going to start on the 2nd fret. Then we have our G shape, which I'll start on the 5th fret. And then we have our D shape, C shape, which I'm going to start on the 5th fret, which is D. And those are all 5 of the shapes that we have and our arpeggios of them. Now, it's good to just know how to be able to do that, but we actually want to start to learn how to use it in music, right? So let's take a simple 1, 4, 5 chord progression. Reason why I'm using 1, 4, and 5 is because those are major chords. If you don't know the numbers yet, please learn the numbers as well. They come from the major scale. They're just built on different. They're just built on different notes of the major scale. They're built on different degrees of the major scale. In this case, like when I say the 1, the 4, and the 5, the one chord is built on the 1, 3, and the 5. The 4 chord is built on the 4 of the key that we're in, and the 5th chord is built on the 5th of the key that we're in. In this case, I'll pick the key of A. So we have A major to D major to E major. Sorry. Okay. I just want to pick an even bar loop. In this case, we'll do a 4-bar loop with 4 beats on the A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 beats on the D, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 8 beats on the E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we don't want to do that in time, by the way. So I'll just go through that in time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is a 4-bar loop. Okay. So then let's take that in time. We're just going to play those chord tones. So we want to find all our chords in that. In this case, I started with the A chord right here. So this is our E shape over the A chord. Then we're doing our A shape on the D chord. And since I don't want to move, I want to be able to try to play this all in the same part. So I could go up, but that takes me out of the shape that I'm in. So I kind of want to stay in this general area. So then we're going to use this C shape of the E chord. Okay. So that's all being played in one spot. So let's play that in time, and I'm just going to play the arpeggios of each of those, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And as you can see, it sounds like I'm moving through the chords. This is what you want. You want to sound like you're moving through those chords, right? So just in that one example, I unlocked how we can play the chords in one area, and I unlocked how we can play over the chords in one area. Now there's multiple areas as we just explored here. If I was to move up to this shape where I know the E chord is here, we can also find all of the chords that are in this area as well. I mean, we have our A chord right here, which is in the D shape, right? Then we have our D chord right here, which is in our G shape. And then we have our E chord, which is in our A shape. So I need to know them in all different places. But let's just stick to the first one that I just did, right? So we learned it going from root position 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. So then you want to learn how to try to do it in different directions, right? And then as I'm doing that, you also want to be able to play within the timing of it, because this is what kind of stumps a lot of guitar players, is the time feel. We want to make sure that we can play within the timing of it, because that's what's going to make it more convincing, is that it's locked in the groove. Okay. Then we're going to start unlocking some chromaticism. Now I'm doing them all individually. The main goal is to try to, do this stuff together where it sounds almost, I don't want to say random, but it sounds like it's all been put together in a way that makes sense, right? So let's just try that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just chord tones, and it already kind of sounds musical, right? And we can continue to keep going down some different methods and things that we can do. We haven't even added the major scale into this, right? What you want to basically look at is the chord tones is our, so at the end of this, you want to look at the chord tones as our bus stops, right? The chord tones is where you want to land. The notes in between is like your road to getting there. So in a way, you can do whatever you want as long as you stop on those chord tones, which are the safe zones, right? So that's pretty much all there is to it. And I just did it in one position. Now, again, we got to make sure we know how to do it in all positions, because positions on the guitar is like changing keys on other instruments. It's easy for us to change keys and harder for other instruments to change keys, but it's easier for them to play in different octaves and things of that nature than it is for us, because we have to change shapes. So it's important that we learn how to change shapes too, because if they have to learn how to play in different keys, then we should learn how to play in different shapes as well. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick video. If you did and you want to see more, please let me know in the comments, and then we can further expand on this. Thank you, and see you in the next one.